everybody?
Ready?
Already?
Just give me a minute and let me admit everybody.
Pete, here.
Okay, I think we're all set.
Welcome, everyone, to our Zoom meeting. It's June 23rd, Tuesday night, 2020. To start off, I would like to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd all join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to
To the
To
flag
the flag,
the
United States of America,
and to the
to
to the republic
which is
for which it
which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
Indivisible,
with liberty.
liberty
liberty
justice
and
for all.
justice
for
for
all.
all.
Thank you. Starting off this evening, we have 4 schedules for public hearings. The first one we have is scheduling a public hearing to amend Town Ordinance 206-46. These first 3 are all related to parking, stuff like that. The first one is we're prohibiting parking at all times. This is from David Smith. They have a situation on Westchester Avenue where they have a multitude of shut-off valves and catch basins, stuff like that. So people sometimes are parking in the area where if they get a water main break, they can't access the valves to shut them off. So the request is on the west side of Westchester Avenue, starting 100 feet south, Whittier Drive for a distance of 40 feet, ending at the driveway of 289 Westchester Avenue. So this, we'll schedule this for Susan, I think July 14th would be the,
Yes, that would be fine, July 14th.
okay, resolution 216 will schedule July 14th to amend the town ordinance 206-46. I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Lori Smalley,
Second,
second by Tom Saliano. All in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next one also has to do with town ordinance. This is for Corey Antonecki and Captain Pierce have examined the location. This is at Irvington Street, starting at the town line for a distance of 350 feet. There's been a problem over there with, there's an entertainment venue where there's a lot of cars that park there and they end up blocking driveways and all in that area. So what they're doing is they're recommending on the east side of Irvington Street for a distance of 350 feet, there will be parking signs put there. So this resolution will set the public hearing for July 14th again,
That's fine.
okay? And that's resolution 217-20. Need a motion and a second?
So moved.
Motion, Zeno,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is another one that the captain and the traffic and safety department, there was an issue with overflow parking. Right now, they put temporary signs recommending parking prohibited at all times. This is between Sherman Avenue and Manhattan Avenue. It's a Lincoln Place. It's a short street. but when people are parking there, it's making it very difficult for people to get in and out of their driveways. This is over near the, what do you call that place, the beer garden, not the beer garden, the Barley House. I guess the Barley House is busy, people are parking all the way up the street and blocking off people's driveways.
Yeah.
You mentioned that in the work session.
Yep. So this one here, we're also scheduled for July 14th.
That's fine.
218-20.
I have to say something, then I'm leaving. Opening the sound.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Schulman,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is calling for a public hearing to consider an amendment to the zoning code to establish a floating zone district. This is what we were discussing about Brightview over on Grasslands Road. This will schedule a public hearing to allow the town to approve a floating zone for that area. The floating zone contains a lot of restrictions and requirements, but we can discuss that at the public hearing. But this we can schedule also for July 14th.
That's fine.
Thank you, Susan. I need
You're
a
welcome.
Move for approval, please.
motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Ms. Zeno. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, we have a request for here, 3 street closing permits. One is for Jennifer Roos. This is from Clover Road to Pine Road. It's a very short street that connects a circular road. It really doesn't affect the flow of traffic at all. Saturday, June 13th, 2020, from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Next one is for John Hawkins to close Manhattan Avenue and Willis Avenue. This is another short street connecting those main roads. June 27th from 3 to 11 p.m. With a rain date, June 28th, same time. Next one is Massimo Cardarelli, closing of Willis Avenue in Hawthorne, Frankfurt, and Main Street, Saturday, August 8th from 12 to 11 p.m. Rain date, August 9th, 2020, at the same time.
I have one question on the first one.
Yes,
June 13th is already passed. Is that date correct or maybe?
yeah, because it came in between meetings, so it's like a retroactive approval.
Okay.
It's just a matter of record.
Okay. Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. Showman,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Zano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item here, this is from our town clerk, Susan Marmol. The State Archives is revising and consolidating its local government records retention and disposition schedules and issuing a single comprehensive retention schedule for all types of local governments on August 1st, 2020. The new schedule, retention and disposition schedule for New York local governments records, or LG-1, will supersede and replace MU-1, schedule for use by cities, towns, villages, and fire districts. Local governments must adopt the LGS-1 prior to utilizing it. Therefore, she is requesting that the town board approve a resolution adopting the new LGS-1 retention. Susan, does this make it any easier for you, or? is there
I
more-
haven't seen the new retention schedule yet,
You haven't? Okay.
but according to the New York State Archives, we do have to adopt it before we can use it. It comes out August 1st.
Okay. So it's your recommendation that we approve this,
Yes, that's correct. Because the other one will be out of date and we will not be able to use it.
Okay.
Have they given you any idea what the changes are?
No, I haven't heard anything so far.
Okay, so
Nothing.
it's
I guess
kind of
we
like,
can only hope that it's going to be an easier process.
yeah.
I hope so for all our sakes.
Yeah.
Okay, move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second it.
second by Mr. Schulman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We had this discussion last week in regards to the EF Academy, the sewer there. The Board of Health had changed some regulations on the sewer. To make it brief, there's a major sewer system that runs through their property. If any further development is done on the property, they will have to turn over ownership of that sewer to the town of Mount Pleasant.
Mhm.
Right now, they have to modify a section of 6-inch sewer main to make it 8-inch, and that will satisfy the Board of Health for now. But again, if there's any further improvements or additions at EF Academy, the ownership of the sewer system will be turned over to the town of Mount Pleasant, and all expenses will be by EF Academy. So this, right now, will just approve the agreement with the Westchester County Department of Health that we will follow this procedure moving forward.
Hey, Carl, just a quick question before we vote on the resolution. I'm certainly for this, and I appreciate you helping EF, but this resulted from them needing housing for their administrators and for their teachers.
I think that brought attention to it. I don't know if that was the sole reason.
Oh, okay.
The Board of Health came in and said, there's a new process now. So they didn't bring this up in the past, which they could have,
Uh-huh.
but I think the new housing didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, I'd like to make an approval for this resolution to enter into sewer ownership agreement with the EF Academy.
Thank you. And like I said, the town does not take ownership unless any further additions are made to the property, aside from the housing. So motion by Mr. Soriano,
I'll second that.
second by Mr. Showman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, from David Smith, our town engineer, superintendent of water and sewer. Authorization to approve a utility easement on town hall for the new water main. This is another thing by the Westchester County Board of Health, even though it's town property. They want an easement written up that we are approving this water main project going through town property. So Darius, I don't know if you were involved with that easement.
Yeah, I was. The Board of Health is requiring that the new easement be prepared. Essentially, the town has given the district an easement over the property. And the necessity of that is to make sure that the district in the future, whether it be 50 or 100 years from now, if town hall moves, that there's an easement for this sewer, no one can build over it, et cetera. So it maintains the line in perpetuity.
Because it's a district, I guess, it's not like just a town water line. It's a district.
Correct.
District.
Correct.
So resolution 223-20 will approve this easement.
Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Purchase order 1220-04. It's a 2020 agreement with SGD Landscaping for the Banksville Cemetery landscape and maintenance service. As you know, Bank Cemetery is an abandoned cemetery, and once the cemetery is abandoned, the municipality becomes responsible for maintaining it. So we have a renewal or a contract with SGD Landscaping. A monthly charge is $300. That's for 2 cuts a month. Additional services, an hourly rate of $50 per hour. Total cost for the contract is $2,100.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
I'll second that.
second by Mr. Showman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is, if anybody's been in town hall, you'll notice in the big room, we have started to move around some cabinets and countertops and all that stuff. We had hired McAfee Moving. This is for phase one of the moving. In order to build the walls, they had to move equipment out, and they'll be putting them back in. The price for this phase is $1,700. We've already started framing, so you may want to take a look and see what it looks like.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. Showman,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next thing is something we've been waiting for quite a while. This is soil sampling for Carroll Park. Before we could do anything as far as dredging there, we have to get samples of the soil to make sure that it's not contaminated soil. Our hope is that it's not contaminated and we can start removing the soil and put it somewhere in town where it's not gonna, we could use this. If it's contaminated, obviously it's a lot more expense involved. So this resolution will allow the sampling. The total for the cost of sampling is $5,775.75.
Move for approval, please, so that this project can move forward. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
Second.
by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next two items have to do with, as you recall, we started drainage district last year. So this year it went on the tax rolls. Unfortunately, two cemeteries were put on the tax rolls as far as a special district charge for drainage. They are not responsible for special district charges. So the first one is for Mount Eden Cemetery. They're the $72.20 charge. That's going to be eliminated on the county and tax bill. So this resolution will eliminate that $72.20 from Mount Eden Cemetery's charge tax bill.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Mr. Showman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next one again is the same thing. These are for Mount Pleasant Cemetery. It involves 4 different parcels. The total is 20216. And this will fit the county and town tax bill. Need a motion and a second on that.
Motion for approval, Mr. Supervisor.
Second.
Mr. Saliano, second by, was that Lori?
Yeah. Yes.
Molly, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to extend an offer of employment to 2 police officer candidates effective July 9th, 2020. From our HR consultant, Ian. The next police academy is scheduled to begin prior to the next town board meeting on July 14, 2020. We are requesting the town board authorize the police department to hire 2 police officers at tonight's meeting so that we can send them to the police academy, which begins on July 13th. We will provide the town board with the names of the 2 successful candidates as soon as we have verification from New York State that they have successfully passed the remaining tests so that the town board can announce the names of the 2 new officers at their public meeting on July 14th. And the reason this is coming up is because of the timing of the academy. So This just gives them the opportunity to move forward.
I'd like to move for approval, and these are, there's 2 retirements, so these are retirements.
Two new officers added to the Mount Pleasant Police Department.
So I support this, and I would like to move for approval.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Schulman, second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is reappointment of Richard Banquet to the Board of Assessment and Review, effective June 11, 2020. If we had this discussion, we had to do this retroactively because of the Board of Assessment and Review meeting that took place.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Ms. Zano. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is our investment report. Current rate of interest is 1.06%. We have our receiver of taxes report. And at this time, we would go to business from the floor. Anybody wishes to talk to the board in regards to town business is welcome to do so at this time.
Okay, so I have one request so far, Kelsey Paget.
Okay,
Hello. Hi there. I have 2 questions and then perhaps a comment. First question, the 2 officers that you just approved, are those replacements or additional officers to the Mount Pleasant force?
we have 2 pending retirements coming up.
Okay,
So we're planning on having those officers to replace the 2 retiring officers.
that answers that question. My second question is, do you plan on having a special town hall meeting on public safety? Terrytown is doing one tomorrow. And I'm just wondering if there's any plans for Mount Pleasant to do a similar.
A town board meeting on public safety.
Yes, yes. Specifically about, the concerns that citizens are having about, different ideas about how to defund police and, take funds from the policing and put them towards social services. So that town thinks that it's a, big enough thing to have a meeting about it. And I'm wondering if we feel the same way.
We haven't had that discussion yet with our police department. There is constant training going on now with the police department as far as procedures and all. That will always continue. We have had no discussion on defunding our police department. That's not what I would be in favor of, but it would be a board decision if that ever comes up. But public safety for the public and for the police department is very important for the town of Mount Pleasant. So we will do whatever additional training may be necessary to make sure that they have the best training possible.
Can I just one comment on that? I think that there is a misunderstanding about the word defund. It is not a complete absolution of the police force, but it is a moving funds from the punishing sort of area of our community and putting them towards things that would help prevent crime, social services. Say if you came across someone who was having a mental health crisis, if you had a phone number that you could call that was not 911, if somebody could show up who was specifically trained to deal with someone having a schizophrenic break and they didn't have a gun and they didn't have the ability to arrest people. I think that's a lot of what people are pushing for. And I think that's what Terrytown is trying to respond to by having a special public meeting about that. How could the citizens let you know if they wanted a meeting like that?
They're welcome to email myself, and we can set up something if we have to do that. Like I said, there is ongoing discussions on how we move forward with adding education, safety measures, our dispatchers, training with the dispatchers on how they handle 911 calls, making a determination of whether it's a case where you need a police officer or you need medical assistance, those are all important factors, and I know that there is ongoing training in regards to that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I have, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you, Nick. If there's no other, we'll move on to the rest of the agenda. Go to our town clerk, Susan, for the town agenda.
Thank you. Town Clerk's Agenda, June 23rd, 2020, Town Board Meeting. Received Mount Pleasant Public Library Board Minutes for April 16th, 2020. Received Building Department Report for May 2020, and received 2 Zoning Board resolutions, David and Joyce Green and Luca Marek. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go on to our council reports. Councilman Schulman, you have your controller's memo.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening to all of Mount Pleasant. Again, it's my pleasure this evening to present the Comptroller's Memo, Resolution Number 231-20 by department and vendor. I'd like to begin with Attorney, Harris Beach PLLC, $14,748.49. Records Management, Hudson Micro Imaging, $954.63. Building Town Hall, Christopher A. Alviera, DBA Pristine Renovation, and Floorcraft Supplies and Warehousing, Inc., $4,239. Special Consulting Services, CPI HR, $696.67. Safety Inspection, Certified Elevator Inspections, Inc., $2,500. Pool, PBS Mini Bulk, Inc., $4,474.98. General Repairs, HCC Public Risk Service and Expanded Supply Products, Inc., $10,050. Highway Machinery, D&W Diesel, Inc., $1,788.24. Capital Building Improvements, Christopher A. Olivieri, DBA Pristine Renovation, $10,000. Capital Old Farm Hill Water, Charles A. Manganero, $52,512.50. Mount Pleasant Consumer District, All Makes Pump and Motor Repair, Inc., $2,495. We have the Joint Water District Fund, D&E Business Forms, Inc., $2,597.52. Mechanical Water District Number 1, Charles A. Manganero, $11,242.50. Kensico Water, we have Corpro Companies, CVS Mini Bulk, Shannon Chemical Corp., for a total of $24,059.16. And finally, we have Trust and Agency Escrow, Rockefeller Brothers Fund, $14,700. And the grand total for this month's report is $156,758.69. I'd like a move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Schulman, second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Councilman Saliano, we don't have anything for you tonight.
No, I don't have anything, Mr. Supervisor, from the police department, but everyone have a very good evening.
You too. Councilwoman Smalley, you have a few items on your list.
Yes, thank you. I know that when I'm reading the agenda, you probably can't see me, but you can hear me. The first item is memo number 22, authorization to hire seasonal day camp staff. Recreation requests the authorization to hire the following seasonal day camp recreation assistants. Please note, staff will only be hired if the day camp program is permitted to operate by the New York State and Westchester County Health Department. The number of staff hired will be based on registration. Staff listed below are based on the 2019 participation of 1,000 participants. I would like to add to this memo and say that registration has begun for our pocket, park, playground, camp programs. This changes the guidelines of the amount of people we will be hiring. However, we need to get board approval to be able to move forward and hire people so that orientation can take place during the last week of June. The seasonal staff will be effective according to the CDC guidelines. This season, we are scheduled to operate July 6th through August 14th. Seasonal employees would be effective June 15th to August 21st at a rate of $10 to $35 an hour. The pay scale rates have been accounted for in the 2020 budget. That includes junior counselors, counselor, head counselor, specialists, assistant directors, directors, EMT. Again, the amount of people are hired is dependent upon the program and the enrollment. Move for approval to go ahead and hire seasonal day camp staff when all of the required numbers are met.
Motion by Ms. Molly,
Second.
second by Mr. Showman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is authorization to hire seasonal pool staff, memo number 23. We are requesting to hire the following pool employees for 2020 season effective June 15th through September 13th. The rate varies from $9.25 to $25 an hour, depending on the role and responsibility. Please note that the staff will only be hired if the pool is permitted to operate. The pool has received their permit. It is permitted to operate. Just so the public is aware, the pool is scheduled to open on July the 6th. The number of staff hired will be based on the services we are permitted to offer. The pay rates have been accounted for in the 2020 budget. It includes lifeguards, slide guards, gate guards, assistant director, and head guard. Move for approval, please, with the numbers and names to be submitted once determined by the recreation staff and the pool director. Move for approval, please.
Motion
Second.
by Ms. Molly,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, this is a little bit easier. Memo number 24, Recreation and Parks requests permission to hire up to 5 part-time seasonal park rangers to work patrolling the parks from 7 p.m. to 12 midnight, June 24th till September 30th, 2020. The pay scale will range from $12 to $20 an hour. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Molly,
Second.
Oh, sorry, Danielle.
That's okay.
second by Ms. Zano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The last item is memo number 25, authorization to hire Keith Holloway as park groundskeeper, effective June 29th, 2020. Salary is per the CFPA contract, local 680 contract. He will begin, as I said, June 29th, 2020. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Molly,
Second.
second by Mr. Showman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Just one PSA, pool registration has begun. Currently, there are approximately 900 passes that have been sold. Day camp registration has also begun. That is for the Pocket Park Playground Program. Please contact the Department of Recreation and Parks if you have any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zano.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. I have a few items on my list from the Highway Department. First item is authorization to deposit a bond for curb cut permit number 1473. This is a check covering the bond, which has been forwarded to the Office of the Comptroller to be placed in the escrow account. This is for a curb cut on a VDOT in place in Nappaqua, and the work has to be completed and the road restored to our highway superintendent's satisfaction. That's the bond amount is $600. Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Mr. Shulman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second is authorization to deposit a bond for street opening permit number 6399. This is a street opening permit for Bellevue Avenue in Thornwood. The check will be deposited into an escrow account, and the work will be, has to be approved once it's completed and road restored again to our highway superintendent's satisfaction. The bond amount on this one is $2,200. Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item I have is authorization to hire Kane Lyons as a seasonal part-time employee for the Highway Department effective June 24th, 2020. Again, he will be a part-time employee at the rate of $16 an hour. Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Another authorization to hire William Scapelhorn as a seasonal part-time employee for the Highway Department, again, effective June 24th, 2020, at a rate of $16 an hour. Again, he will be a seasonal part-time employee. Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Mr. Shulman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is, again, authorization to hire a seasonal part-time employee, Matthew Fining, for the Highway Department effective June 24th at a rate of $16 an hour. Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
My next item, I have three more of these. Authorization to hire Luke Scopino as a seasonal part-time employee for the Highway Department effective June 24th, again at a rate of $16 an hour. Once again, he's a seasonal part-time employee. Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next authorization is to hire Joseph D. Santis as a seasonal part-time employee. Once again, actually effective June 26th, 2020, at a rate of $16 an hour. Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Mr. Shulman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? What happened?
No one's
No opposed, I think.
opposed. What
Motion
happened?
carries.
What happened?
I just lost the picture. I got it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah,
My last item, authorization to hire Anthony DiMaselli as a seasonal part-time employee for Highway Department effective July 1st, 2020, again at the rate of $16 an hour, a seasonal part-time employee. Move for approval, please.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Zano, second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I do not believe we have anything from your town attorney.
Could I just mention one thing, Mr. Supervisor, in reference to the residents' comment that the persons to be heard? They are, there's an executive order out now, and I've been working with Chief Oliva on that from the governor concerning reviewing policies and procedures of the Police Department of Mount Pleasant. Ultimately, that's going to be finalized in a proposal done by the police chief and the police department to the town board with public input. That order was signed 12 days ago by the governor. So it looks like Tarrytown's moving 12 days afterwards to have a meeting. But the chief and I are reviewing those policies, and we will report back to the board after we've reviewed them. And then there will be public comment at a few stages of the process. And there's a year, I believe, Governor Cuomo indicated for the police departments to address these issues. But I think we'll move faster than that. But there will be public comment on these issues coming in the near future.
Thank you for the clarification. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Moving on to our scheduled meetings. We do not have a meeting next week. It is the 5th Tuesday of the month. Our next meeting is July 7th at 7 p.m. The business session, July 14th at 8 p.m. If there be no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. Thank you all. Meeting adjourned.
Have a good evening. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good job.
Good
Thank
night.
you.